And hello again, everybody! This is Bobby U! And it is divisional playoff round weekend. Many think the best weekend of football of the year. I think it is a great weekend. I still hold my best weekend to the next week, the conference championships, with the chance for the Super Bowl to go on the line. But the divisional round has all the best teams now in a fun-packed 4 days. And we're going to start off at Mile High Stadium, the return of Peyton Manning to the playoffs, battling with the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore coming off an impressive 24-9 victory last week against the Indianapolis Colts in what was Ray Lewis's final home game. And the emotions still going to be running wild for Ray Lewis. But Peyton Manning is playing on a different level right now. Not a different level for him, but a different level in the league. 37 touchdowns, over 4,600 yards in his return. Denver has not lost since Columbus Day weekend when they fell to the Patriots 34-24. And I just think it's too much Denver. You got the Mile High Air. You got the Ravens traveling out there, playing on one-day short rest as they played on Sunday and now here on Saturday. And the emotion factor still, I think, favors the Ravens, but you got the Broncos. Now, Peyton Manning has struggled at some times opening rounds. He's also dominated opening rounds. Back in his first playoff game against the Tennessee Titans when they were the 1 seed, they got defeated at home. But, of course, you got games like against the Kansas City Chiefs when they blew the doors off when he had 6 touchdown passes. But I think the Ravens might keep it close for a little bit. Not long, though. Denver 30, Baltimore 17, and Denver will advance to the AFC Championship game. It will not be close, I don't believe, at the end. Saturday's late game will be a matchup of 2 epic NFL teams, the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco finishing the year 11-4-1, and the Packers coming off a 24-10 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. These two met in Week 1 at Lambeau, and that seems like it's so far away and so long ago, and it really was. The 49ers won that game 30-22 in Lambeau Field, but that was when this guy Alex Smith was at quarterback. Now you got Colin Kaepernick. And the feeling this year for the 49ers is just not the same as last year. Last year, their defense was so dominating. But this year, too, it has still been dominating. Only giving up 17 points per game, second in the league, but not the same feeling. And, of course, the big question mark, Justin Smith injury. Is he going to be full strength? Is he going to be able to participate in this game? The Packers' biggest weakness is the offensive line. And can you get to Aaron Rodgers, who this week has been suffering from flu-like symptoms and does have the flu? Will that affect this game here? I think this will be the closest game of the weekend, the most intense game of the weekend. It will come down to the end, and I think the Packers are going to pull it out 27-23 and advance to the NFC Championship game. This game can go either way, and if the Packers' offensive line cannot hold up, San Francisco can easily dominate this game and that allow the weapons of Aaron Rodgers to come to fruition. But the Packers have everyone back now. Everyone who's been injured is back. Charles Woodson, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, Clay Matthews. They are at their full strength for the first time this year. And I think that's going to go a long way in San Francisco. 27-23, Packers advanced NFC Championship game. Fast forward to Sunday, the 1 o'clock game. The Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. And Atlanta has been waiting all year for this game. This, you can almost say, is their Super Bowl. A must-win playoff game for the Atlanta Falcons. They have gotten no respect the entire year, going to a 13-3 record, and people have just flicked their thumb at them. No interest in the Atlanta Falcons, knowing that they must win a playoff game. They are 0-3 under Matt Ryan in the playoffs. But if you go back to look at it, the losses weren't horrific losses. Matt Ryan's first playoff game, they went into Arizona and lost. Okay, nothing that big. The big one was when they had home field advantage in 2009 against the Green Bay Packers, and Green Bay came in there and whitewashed them. But The Packers were on a roll that year, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. So that was a tough position for any team to be in. Just a bad place for the Falcons, the number 1 seed, and a bad team for them to be playing. And then last year, road game in Giants Stadium, the eventual Super Bowl champions, and they laid an egg, losing 24-2. It's all in front of them now for the Atlanta Falcons, but once again, they do have a tough matchup against the hot Seattle Seahawks, who many right now are predicting to go on to the Super Bowl. Seattle coming off 6 straight wins, and in those 6 wins have won by an average combined points of 23 points. I think a big factor, however, in this game is going to also be the travel of Seattle. From Seattle to Washington last week, back to Seattle. They decided not to stay on the East Coast, and now another long travel into Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to be too pumped up for this game. You cannot be looking and have a date circled for so long and come out and lay a dud. If they do, it will just destroy the credibility of the whole organization, of Matt Ryan, of the entire team. A must-win playoff game, and I think they will get it done. Their intensity level would just be too much to handle. Atlanta Falcons 30, Seattle Seahawks 13, ending the great run of Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, and the Seattle Seahawks. The final game of the week, the Houston Texans going into Gillette Stadium to face Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. The Patriots destroyed the Texans 42-14 in Week 14. The Patriots have averaged almost 35 points per game. The Texans have limped into this game, eking out a victory unimpressively last week against the Cincinnati Bengals 19-13, in which they can only score 1 touchdown and 4 field goals. They did not look impressive at all. They did not look impressive down the stretch of the season after jumping out to an 11-1 start, losing 3 of their last 4. Everyone's picking the Patriots this week, and I think it's going to add a little bit of fuel to their fire. Arian Foster hanging up on his Facebook page that there's no respect, that there's almost like a bye game for the Patriots, their second bye. I disagree with that. The Texans were considered the number 1 playoff team and the number 1 team in the NFL for just about the entire year. I think the Texans are going to come out with something to prove. They're going to keep this game close for a period of time, but it's going to be too much Patriots, too much Tom Brady, too much Rob Gronkowski. Patriots will score a couple of touchdowns late and pull away. New England 34, Houston 20. Setting up the epic matchup of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning once again in the AFC Championship game. Those are the picks. That's the way it's going to be. This is Bobby U, and we'll see you again when the sun shines once more.